Hello everybody, my name is Vampy Lizard and welcome back to Cities Skylines. I'm here for you guys all today for another 10 mods to showcase for you all for Cities Skylines. The last video on the 10 mods seemed to do pretty well. You guys seem to like it, so here are another 10 mods that if you have the resources to on your PC, you should definitely download. And the first one for that is extra landscaping tools. The vanilla landscaping tools just aren't that good. You run out of soil really quick, it costs a lot of money, but with this, first off, you get brush options, so you can change your brush size from all the way that to like medium size and whatever. And of course you don't run out of soil at all, so it's really nice to be able to really make basically whatever shape you want without having to worry about soil. There's a bunch of other things that you can do, such as putting sand down, as well as you also get this thing down here, which can make it so that you can actually place resources in the ground, such as ore, or oil, or crops. It's a really useful thing to have, I believe, if you want to make a custom industrial zone instead of just relying on whatever resources are in the area. There's also this thing where you can have different brush shapes, which I don't really use, but I suppose it's a nice feature to have. Yeah, that's extra landscaping tools. Next up is first person camera. Now you guys have actually seen me use this in the past for my first person train ride video, as well as the bus and the tram. There is a way to just look first person down on the ground, but I don't really use that. What I use more is if I can find a car. If you get a car like this, or any vehicle basically, you click on it and it'll show this camera icon. And what you just need to do is you click it, and then it'll show you what the car sees. This is really great if you want to just see like what a car would see driving through your city. And of course it also shows information like the speed, where it's going to, what road it's on, all those kind of things. It's a really great tool. It's just really fun to be able to see the ins and outs of your cities and what the cars and the trains see. Alright guys, moving on is not so unique buildings. This is a really fun mod. Let me just clear this up. And so you have a bunch of unique buildings, and sometimes you may want to, for example, place, I don't know, a second tax office in your city. And with this mod, it does exactly that. You can place as many unique buildings of the same type as you want. And this also goes with stuff like unique factories. Find them like this. You can just place them basically however much you want. It's a really nice tool because I like to build bigger cities, and well, I want to have more than one unique building of each type usually in each city. And then the next one is unlimited outside connections. Now this is going to be a bit tricky to show. I'm going to have to turn off the fog. I'll be right back once that's done. Alright, so I just went into the settings and I turned the fog off just to show you what this mod can do. And this mod will allow you to take any road you want and connect it to outside. Now this is an outside connection, which means traffic can spawn, just like this highway. Traffic can spawn at the edge of this road to come into your city. You can do this also with train tracks, just like that, and that will make, whoops, that is not what I meant to do. You can do this with train tracks, and this will make an inner city train come into your city. You can also do this with boat and ships, as well as airplane paths. Alright, let me turn the fog back on real quick. There we go. And next up, the next mod is Surface Painter. Surface Painter will add this small thing right over a surface tool, they call it, and it's a pretty simple mod. It doesn't do a whole lot, but what it does is pretty nice. And that is, it can paint the surface basically whatever you want. Now this is concrete right now, but you can paint gravel, ruin textures, there's the field texture, and this will remove the textures. And it'll also remove the textures of the concrete on the road. It does a lot of weird things, but I would definitely say that the concrete one is definitely the most useful, as I use this inside cities, or especially on like industrial areas like at ports, harbors, but most the time I use this is at airports where you need large areas of just concrete. It's a really great tool to have for airports. You can see in some of my past videos when I've built airports, I've used this tool to spread some concrete around in areas that without it you wouldn't have been able to get it. And the next mod that we are visiting is RICO Revisited. This mod will put this down into your inventory, or a hotbar, or your bar down here, your toolbar, I guess you could call it. And basically what it allows you to do is you can place any buildings you want now. And these buildings aren't like your unique buildings. These buildings are actual like residential zones. This is a whole different type of building style that people do, called plopping instead of zoning. Zoning is what happens in vanilla. Plopping is where you just build a city by, well, plopping all your buildings. It's a lot more time consuming, but you can really choose what building you want where, and some people do it. Some people definitely do enjoy it more than zoning style. And not only will this allow you to have this whole menu with different zones that you can place, different types of buildings that you can place. Another thing that you actually can do is that you can go and turn unique buildings. So let's say we have some of these skyscrapers, and you grab one of these and you place it down. However, it only functions as a unique building right now, as you can see. And let's say that you want people to actually live in it. So what you can do is you can click the RICO settings button and add local, and then you just put it to residential, and then high or wall to wall, and then that, and then you just save and apply changes. You get out of here, you close that, and now you will actually have people living in these buildings. This is another thing that I have showcased in the past in some of my city building series videos. And the next mod is realistic population. Now it's kind of hard to show this, so I will just overlay some city footage, basically to show what I'm talking about. In Cities Skylines, most of the growables and these zoned buildings will really not have as many people living in them as would be realistic, I think. Like this building, if we see right here, this is a decent sized building. Once it's done out of construction, I can show you the problem, however, and that is the fact that for such a large building, 73 households, this is with the mod. Without the realistic population mod, the amount of households in these large buildings will be significantly lower, which means it's a lot harder to have more people, and you'll have rows and rows of skyscrapers with really not that many people in them. And the next mod is node controller. This is a this is a mod that you really can get deep into. I myself have not learned everything there is to learn about this mod, but for example, I'm going to show you one of the great things that this thing can do. And we're just making a highway exit, right? And now if you see, this really does not just look that natural. It does not look that good. And another example that I can give you guys is this. If we have this going like that, and we have that, it just does not really look that good, I think. But what you can do with node controller, and this is just one of the many things you can do, is you hit Control N, and then you click on the node that you want to do, and you can mess with all these settings, but you can also do this if you want to just make a seamless highway extensions, highway intersections, sorry. And that already looks so much better than it did at the beginning. And there are so many things that you can do. For example, you can push these much further back, you can bend them, you can make roads wider, you can make them narrower. These work with train tracks, paths, footpaths, and of course highways and roads. There are many things that you can do with this mod. Someday I might make an in-depth guide for this, but currently I myself do not know enough about the mod to be able to do a full in-depth guide. And then the next one is basically one mod that you use with this actually quite a lot, and that is intersection marking tool. I'm just gonna actually rebuild that highway intersection that I stupidly decided to erase. And what I'm gonna do is so we're just gonna get this back to the way it was before, right? And what you can do is you can actually hit Control L and you click on the node you want to edit, and you can turn this into a much more realistic highway intersection, actually. Drawing lines onto the pavement, whoopsie daisy, can make it look a lot better than in the vanilla state. And you can also do infill inside these areas that you click. This is another mod that there's so much that you can do that I would not be able to explain it all in a short amount of time that I have for this video. Someday again I may make a more in-depth guide for this, but all you need to know right now is that this mod can really do so much. Like, drawing lines on intersections is far from the only thing that this can do. However, it is time to move on to the last mod of today's list. If you guys are enjoying this video, make sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe, as well as leave a comment down in the video if you have any suggestions for future Cities Skylines videos. And the last mod is Instant Return to Desktop. In the vanilla game, returning to the desktop can take a really long time, but with this mod, all you have to do is hit quit and then to desktop, and it'll instantly close just like that. Alright guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a thumbs up, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Of course, as always, the links for all these mods are in the description down below if you want to go subscribe to them, and I'll see you all later.